Good morning to everybody in the US. Good evening to everybody in India. Welcome to our Pravachana Malika talk number 41. We're very excited to invite our featured speaker, Dr. Sindhu Shankar. She's a special educator and researcher in Bangalore, and she will be talking to us on creation and spiritual content in man. So today's program will have the Veda Kusumanjali, and then the Sangeetanjali, and then we'll have the speaker introduction by Father Dr. Prabhakar, and then we'll have the talk and have some concluding remarks. So we'll start with the Veda Kusumanjali. So Rajgopalan sir, are you able to do the Veda Kusumanjali?
Yeah, Rajgopalan is there included. Request him.
I'll start, you can join. Om Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Bhadram Karne
Shuniyama Devaha Bhadram Karpashemakshviryajatraha Tirairangaistustuvagam Shastanyubihi Vyashema Devahitam Yadayuhu Swastina Indro Vridrashravaha Swastina Pusha Vishvavedaha Swasti nastarksho arishtanevihi Swasti no brihaspatirdadatu Om Shanti 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 Om Agnena Yasupataraye Asman Vishpani Deva Vayunani Vidvan Yuyodyasmate Juhuranameno Tuyishtam Tenama Vuktim Videma Om Shanti 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 Om Brahman Brahmano Brahma Varjasi Jayata Rashtre Rajanyah Shura Ishabhyo Ati Vyadi Maharato Jayatam Dogdrir Dhenur Boda Nadvan Ashut Saptehi Purandir Yosha Jishtura Teshta Sabhe Yo Yuva Asya Yajamanasya Pido Jayata Nikame Nikamena Varjanyo na Varshatu Palavatyo na Oshadaya Vasyanta Yoga Kshemona Kalpeta Om Shanti 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 Om Apyayantu mamangani vak pranachakshuh Shrotramato palamindriyani cha sarvani Sarvam Brahmopanishadam Maham Brahma Nirakuryam Mama Brahma Nirakarotu Anirakaranamastu Anirakaraname astu Tadatmani Nirateya Upanishatsu Dharma Temayi Santu Temayi Santu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Thank you. I continue just to recite few mantras from Devi Suktam because she is the creator par excellence. So she has come up and the Bhaggambrani Sukta and told important that she is responsible for that. So the first mantra of the Devi Suktam of her Rigveda 10th Mandala 125th Sukta tells you that Om Aham Rudrebhirvasubhischarami Ahamadityairuta Visvadevaihi Aham Mitra Varuno Bha बिभर्म्यहमिन्द्राग्नी अहमस्विनोभा अहं सोममाहनसं बिभर्मि अहं त्वष्टारमुतपूषणं भगम् अहं दधामि द्रविणं हविष्मते सुप्राव्ये यजमानाय सन्वते अहमेव स्वयमिदं वदामि जुष्टं देवेभिरुतमानुषेभिः यं कामयेतं तमुग्रं कृणुमि तं ब्रह्माणं तं ऋषिं तं सुमेधाम् अहं रुद्राय धनुरातनोमि ब्रह्मद्विषेशरवेहन्तवावु अहमेव वात इव प्रवाम्यारभमाणा भुवनानि विश्वा परो दिवापर येना पृथिव्यै तावती महिना सम्बभूव ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Now Sangeeta.
Yeah, so I'll do the Sangeeta Anjali. Om अतीत शक्ति अनंत रूप अत्यंत अमित बरा अंतर्यामी अनामक अगोचर चराचर सुख संतोष समन्वय दुःखोन्माद प्ररेपक गुणोद्दीपक गुणरहित सर्वात्मा प्रभु परमात्मा पाहि 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 माम् परात्परा परमेश दिगंबर दीनदयाळ सुमानस स्वयं प्रकाश सर्वरक्षक सर्वेश प्रभात कीर्ति प्रचंड किरण विभात मूर्ति विभावरी निराकार निगमोकार पूर्णाकार प्रभु श्रीकार पाहि 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 माम् ओम. So now you're muted. So
Formally, I just recite two slokas from Narayaniyam because Narayana is the creator par excellence. And so the first dashakam of Narayaniyam, the first sloka will tell us that is a luck that Narayana has started his creation. Sandranandavabodhatmakam anupamitam kaladeshavadibhyam nirmuktam nityamuktam nigamashatasahasrena nirbhasyamanam अस्पष्टं दृष्टमात्रे पुनरुरुपुरुषार्थात्मकं ब्रह्मतत्त्वं तत्तावद्भाति साक्षात् गुरुपवनपुरे हन्तभाग्यं जनानाम्. The final sloka of the 10th of the first Dasakam is Aiswaryam Shankarat Ishvara Vinayam शिवतेजोहराणां tejas samhari Viryam Vimalamipiyaso Nispruhaischopagītam Anga Sanga Sada Srihi Akhila Vidasi Nakvapite Sangavarta Tadvata Garavasim Murahara Bhagavat Sabda Mukhya Astrayosi Om Namo Narayanaya.
Very good. Nana, can you please introduce the speaker and the comment?
Now we have today a very interesting talk, and it is on the creation and spiritual content in man, a very new outlook that we have got to look at, because man, of course, created, and most important is the Atmanveshana, Brahmanishtatvam, Brahmaparatvam, and all this is what is the spiritual content. And moreover, Atmanveshana and Brahmanveshana. As in Prashnopanishad, the first answer given by my Pippala the Maharshi for the question put by the one Rishi, he says that why at all Prajapati is creating? How not he keep quiet? But the answer given by the Rishi is Prajakamo vai Prajapati. See, the Prajapati, as he takes the name, he is always interested to have more and more people fill up the entire vacuum in the nature. Therefore, there is a Prakriti, Purusha, and those people who help to get more, fill up the creation by children, by begetting children, they are all performing the Dampati Vratam and so on. So it's a beautiful answer given by Prajapati that he cannot keep quiet, he has to keep on creating. And on the other hand, one thing is that when he created, he divided people, one into Devaha and another into Manushyaha. So man and God. So there is a transition between these two people. And what is the man? We have to understand, because we have anthropology, study of the man, subject, big subject, and researches are going on. But what is that? What is that is going on in the creation and in man? And our distinguished speaker today is Sindhu Shankar. She has been a student in our Veda Adhyayana Kendra. I don't remember when she joined. Suddenly she appeared and she was attending now and then, and for Veda classes and other talks and all that. And she has been a presenter also, because she is doing a lot of research, got PhD, and we have been aware of her in our Kendra, and she is a very busy worker. On the other hand, she is trying to heal the retarded children also. That's the most important, because all people are not born same, but they have some problems. So she is wonderfully doing a lot of research and helping healing of the retarded children. And that apart from that, she is a good worker, and she has been taking jignasa is important, because generally artho jignasur gnani cha nararshabha. So as Krishna said, three people drop away, but gnani like Arjuna alone will continue to find out more and more things and unearth all that. That's what Brahman Veshana, Atman Veshana. So today I think she is going to touch on the creation and man, on sacrifices, on Panchabhutas and Panchakosa, and discussion on the Panchakosa. She has already made a good study on the Panchakosa Vidya, originally found in the Taittiriya Upanishad, and she's talking about the state of Ananda, Anando Brahma. So the Ananda is the ultimate approach or goal that each one should go. But whatever Ananda, materialistic, is not real Ananda. But we must want the Brahmananda, which is very much permanent, whereby the Atman gets identified with the Brahman. So Brahmatman yada srujata tadakamayata is one. That is what Atma, that he tried to get out from Brahma, and he went on chasing the Atma. He did not keep quiet. Therefore, Sarvabhuteshu Tishtati. And again, what is the spirituality and essence of spirituality in man is also an interesting thing. And upon the, as I said, Atma Anveshana, it's all Pippala the Maharshi's postulates. And there must be self-inquiry. That's exactly Acharya Shankara also in Bhajagovinda Stotram, which Prasad also has done a drum beats, beautiful presentation of Bhajagovinda Stotram, Nirvana Satkam, the synchronization of other Western instruments also, wherein Shankara tells that Kostvam, Koham, Kutayataha, Tadiha Chintaya, Bhrataha, oh brother. So he said, Bhrataha, brother. Shankaracharya, ನಾವು ತಮ್ಮ ಅಣ್ಣ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಪುಣ್ಯ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. So at least we had the fortune of being a neighbor to Shankara's place in Kaladi. So like that, we have that kind of self-inquiry to know what is yourself, of what you are composed, what goals you have got, all this. And again, if at all you are able to have that Atma, the self-study, or Swadhyaya. He said Swadhyaya Pravachanabhyam na pramaditavyam. So whatever you do, like Swadhyaya and Pravachana, these are the two things. Sharing your knowledge, one, and increasing your knowledge. Done. The life journey is wonderful. Then again, we should note down that what are the benefits of the self-knowledge and how do you manage the self-knowledge is also important. And for that purpose to increase, we have got the wonderful thing is yoga. And it is a practicals to implement and increase ourselves, enhance ourselves. Yogenante tanutyajam. Kalidasa says, I keep practicing yoga all through my life and I desert the body, not the body deserting me. Yogenante tanutyajam. I try to relinquish my body willingly, like Mahishasura, when Durga Parameswari became very angry, Masi Varnam Tatha. She became Kupita Antaka Darsana. She looked like an angered Yama. So when the angered Yama is upon him to end him, then he said, Mahishaha Mumocha Pranan. So Mahishaha Mumocha Pranan. You have to admit the pranas to get out from that. If prana goes, automatically the remaining 4 pranas will go away. So it's a wonderful subject which our Dr. Sindhu has taken up, and really there is no satisfaction in that, but still she is able to make wonderful presentation. So welcomes Dr. Sindhu, our Veda student, and she is a Gnani. She's trying to not stop at one point, keep on inquiry. Prasnena, Pariprasnena, Sevaya va Gnanam Gnanarjanam Karvanti. So this is how our Upanishad tells, because Upanishads are our star, are the lodestars for us. So we try to, each Upanishad is that, Prashna Upanishad is one, and other Upanishads are also there. So now we are just, I don't want to talk much, it is good. Thank you. Please, Sindhu. She is a researcher, she is a student, and even now she has so much of family responsibilities and professional pursuits. Still, she is active and not at all tired of all of this. Welcome.
Thank you so much for the wonderful introduction. Can I share?
Yeah, you should be able to share. Yes.
1 minute. Able to see my screen?
Yeah, you can see it.
Namaskaram, everybody.
You can
I would
put in full screen mode.
Yeah. 1 minute. 1 minute, just. So I would like to start with Guru Mantra. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. So the topic of my presentation is creation and spiritual content in man. So creation has always been associated as an essential part of man's existential identity. It is both cosmological and metaphysical, with a deep connection between man and universe. So the Vedic cosmology, it propounds creation as arising from the ultimate reality, the Brahman, the unmanifest, the infinite field of pure consciousness, with creation process condensing from subtle to gross as layers of energy, matter, and individuality. So man has since been impelled to understand the creation that nurtured an awareness of the meaning and purpose of cosmic manifestation with its multiplicity. So this fosters insights into the significance and goal of human life. So man has always been the most evolved creation, or most evolved in the creation, and is endowed with higher state of consciousness, advanced thinking individual having the manas, the intellect, the buddhi, and the senses. So the microcosmic reflection of macrocosmic universe is man, with every aspect of universe essentially represented within us, mirroring the same folds of consciousness or the kosha and cosmic principles, which along with human experience makes man an essential conduit for interacting and understanding the nuances of creation. So, enough emphasis is given in our Vedas on consciousness as one primary reality, leading to the conjecture that first and foremost, we are the conscious self, one with Brahman. The concept of consciousness was then universalized, with this universe symbolically described as Purusha, the giant man, with the notion of parallelism between the individual and the world. So, cognizant of this fact, man has always attempted to be in synchrony with the universe. So, the Vedic thought of spirituality was deeply attuned to concepts of cosmic principle of order, truth, and laws, the Rita, to understand the world and pursue the ultimate reality. Rita in Rig Veda is also the principle of natural law and order governing the universe. It is closely allied to dharma and karma in man's life, encompassing morals, ethical, and societal order. So, if a man leads a Rita life, then it leads to peace, prosperity, contentment, harmony with universe. If he doesn't follow Rita, the natural rules, it leads to total chaos and turmoil, sickness, and death. Thus, Rita led to good actions that affirms the unity and sovereignty of cosmic and moral order, progressively molding itself into the law of karma. So, the Vedic seers thus they propounded to follow the natural cosmic order, be in synchrony with Mother Nature, Prakriti, and the supreme consciousness Brahman, with a profound emphasis on the stability of all life forces for harmony and maintenance of cosmos, directing man to live in harmony as an integral part of the creation. So the Rig Veda, it worshipped the natural elements as divine entities, and earth is revered as the main upholder of life on which all these interactions take place and life is sustained. So man is called upon to make a beneficial use of these divine interactions and create a good life for himself. So one of the ways which was propounded was yajna. So yajna has several connotations. Either we can take it as worship or sacrifice, honor, nourishment, or as a sacred striving. It involves a sequence of sacred actions to invoke the presence of supra-physical cosmic powers such as Agni, Vayu, and others, with the primary purpose of creating harmony. So what was the object of yajna was to win the higher divine being, possess it, make the lower human existence abide to its law and truth. The whole universe is viewed as yajna, with mutual give and take happening in the whole universe between the elements, emphasizing the interconnectedness of all things in the universe. It is a conduit between man and the universe to attain higher levels of all-round perfection, a purnatva of body, prana, mind, spirit, to receive several benefits. The Taittiriya Samhita proclaims yajna as Shrestha Karma, most important auspicious deed, bestowing multiple benefits on man. It emphasizes on inner yajna for the perfection of every part of the individual, supporting the entirety of inner being, harnessing all energy for an overall integration of man. So the Upanishads suggests a path from the outside universe to the inner yajna, where the sacrifice is performed within one's body, consisting of all the functions necessary for yajna towards the goal of perfection. So the inner yajna was more indicative of internalization into the microcosmic world of human body, with actions done at subtle level. So the offerings were the surrender of vital breath, the feelings, the thoughts, the emotions, and all kinds of experiences which are overrun with a sense of ego and possessiveness into the spiritual fire of jnana. So essentially, yajna is a profound experience of Brahman, which bring oneness of Atman, microcosm, and cosmic self Brahman, the macrocosm. So man is essentially, Brahman is essentially the pure transcendental intelligence constituting a soul, the first substantial reality that surpasses limitations of time, space, and causation. It is the efficient cause of the universe, thus forming the common basis and background of all that appears real and existing. The all-pervading Brahman is defined as Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma, the supreme existence, the truth, knowledge, and infinite. However, the omniscient Brahman must be sought within oneself and not outside. Therefore, the Upanishad extols that the ultimate truth, Brahman, dwells in man's inner self that resides deep in the recess of the heart or the guha and is reflected within as the Atman or the self. Man has always been in quest of this knowledge of the ultimate reality of his existence, the self. Upanishads provide validation to such deep inquiries of vichara, giving much importance to the notion of self with the diverse interpretation of truth and reality of life, along with guidance for aligning with cosmos through such contemplative quests. The central tenet of all Upanishads is the unifying principle of keeping man as the contextual reference with the cosmos, Brahman as the all-pervading consciousness, Atman as the individual higher self, and the ultimate goal in life as union with Brahman. In modern context, man has always questioned the reality of his existence and to understand the various aspects of his personality. The Taittiriya Upanishad describes the universe as Pankta, comprising 5 fundamental elemental aspects of creation in 5 consecutive layers of consciousness projected forth at both micro and macro levels. The Panktam consists of 5-fold set of objects in outside world and human body, each complementing and sustaining each other. So Brahman is looked upon as the cause of the universe, the precursor to the creation of the essential 5 elements, the Bhuta Shrishti. The Tattva Bodha says that the subtle elements were created at the outset, followed by Panchikaranam, the grossification process giving rise to gross element. The Aitreya Upanishad proclaims in the very beginning that Atman or the self as the unparalleled being is the cause of all the manifested elements. So from the Atman as a self in the inner sacred supreme space of the heart originated the Akasha as the first manifestation. And from this space emerged the Vayu, Agni, Apa, and Prithvi. And from that earth or Prithvi emerged vegetation, producing Annam, further leading to manifestation of man, the Purusha, with a physical body made of essence of food. Man is given preeminence in creation process because he can perform karma, acquire knowledge or jnanam spiritually. This was pointed out as a way to attain and reunite with the Brahman. 5 sheets, kosha, constitute the embodied creature, man, shaping his personality. The earliest identification offered to man on understanding his personality and attaining Ananda, or the highest bliss, was through the concept of Panchakosha Vidya Viveka of the Taittiriya Upanishad. It proclaims that the knower of Brahman attains the highest state of Ananda or infinite bliss as Brahmavit Apnoti Param. The Taittiriya Upanishad propounds the Panchakosha Viveka as a methodology of discriminating the 5 sheets of personality of man to know the Brahman. The Panchakosha are levels of consciousness harboring the self. So the Panchakosha are also given as the intermediate goals to man for reaching the Atman as the highest destination through refinement of mind, through intense internal research or tapas, which sensitizes the mind to grasp the subtlest Atman beyond the 5 sheets. So the Annamaya Kosha is the outermost physical sheet having the distinct shape of human body. The Upanishad stresses more on Annam as matter than food and mentions it as a gross universe matter, the Pancha Bhuta Prapancha, or the creation of 5 elements. The attributes of this kosha are birth and death, where the physical body arises from Annam, sustained, and goes back into it. Therefore, Annam is the gross universe and the reason for the gross body Annamaya. The Annam becomes the Upadana Karanam and the Annamaya as the Karyam. They are essentially the same because the elements and the chemicals that constitute them are the same. So there is a Karya Karana Sambandha between them. Annam and Annamaya, the food sheath, are essentially the same as macrocosm and microcosm. Here the Brahman is worshipped as food or support of all living beings. This is the only sheath that is visibly perceived by man with a tendency to show strong identification towards it. An individual who worships only food as Brahman and worships the physical body as supreme, knows nothing beyond the body, will hinder his progression. However, the Upanishad encourages man to meditate on the gross body as the starting point to reach other subtler bodies with the Atma as the ultimate destination. Thus, the Upanishad hails Annamaya Kosha, the first intermediate goal, as Atma. Man soon becomes aware that this physical self is not true, is temporary, purely matter, having no consciousness and cannot be associated with the self. So transcending Annamaya serves a first step in the path of liberation. The process fosters refinement of mind, enhancing the ability to shift from embracing only gross and tangible to more abstract and intangible. So Annamaya now is no longer the Annamaya Atma. Instead, it becomes Anatma or the non-self. Man then evolves to the next settler level of Pranamaya Kosha. The Annamaya Kosha is now negated from Atma to Anatma. The Pranamaya Kosha, subtler than Annamaya, is the vital sheet, intangible, occupies the entire gross body. It is now viewed as the Atma inside the Annamaya, or the soul embodied in the Annamaya. So, made of Vayu or the air as a fundamental life force, formless, part of the Sukshma Sarira, involved in breathing, regulating various physiological functions, determining the health or vitality in man. The vitality expresses itself physiologically at various points of physical sheath, collective called prana, and functions in the five organs of action. Man is invited to meditate upon the universal Prana Brahma in the individual Pranamaya. Here, the I is taken as Pranamaya Kosha. However, man soon realizes Annamaya and Prana have no consciousness, as even in dreams and sleep, the Prana performs its function without our awareness. Now, man realizes that Pranamaya is no longer the Atma and it is not his real self. The Manomaya Kosha identifies itself now as the Atma, with the Pranamaya regressing as Anatma. So man now transcends to a more subtler level of the Manomaya Kosha or the mental sheath. So the Upanishads now instructs us to meditate on the Manomaya Atma. The Manomaya Kosha, the emotional body, harbors the mind or the manas. It is subtle, having no form, comprises the rittis, the desires and formative thoughts. The manas shows a strong attribute of attachment with a tendency to cling to a state of I-ness. This sheath is just seen as a modification of mind associated with the five jnana indriyas, or organs of perception. The sensory information perceived by manas is deciphered by the chitta, giving rise to feelings and rapid recycling of thoughts with momentum, producing bhavana or emotions, further giving rise to likes and dislikes, love or hate, with the support of ahamkara or I-ness. This forms a root cause of all joy and distress in an individual. The Samashti Mana or total mind is Hiranyagarbha, which is omniscient. The Samashti Hiranyagarbha is meditated upon in the individual Rasti Manomaya. However, here man finds that Manomaya is no longer the Atma, as it is beyond all speech and thought, and no consciousness, as mind is unconscious in deep sleep. Atma is not the mind. With this realization, man's mind becomes more sensitive to move further to a more subtle level of the Vijnanamaya Kosha. The Vijnanamaya is now the Atman, and the Manomaya becomes the Anatma. The Vijnanamaya Kosha is marked by the ability to discriminate. It is our inner conscience that guides our action, behavior. The manas can waver, it can have doubts, but the intellect is very firm. As a sense of I-ness, the ahamkara forms a faculty of identity, maintains such impressions by storing them as individual knowledge, creating the identification of the individual with the world demonstrated through our physical body. Meditation on Vyashti Samasti Vijnanamaya gives dual benefit of Sakama Phalam and Nishkama Phalam. Nishkama Phalam fosters Chitta Shuddhi, Chitta Ekagrata, Chitta Vishalata. Individual identity is dropped while meditating on the totality, leading to dilation of ego. By visualizing the totality, ego disappears in the individual self, leading to focus, purity, and expansion of the mind. In waking condition, there is a strong identification with the body on the visible Annamaya level, along with mind and intellect. However, in a deep sleep, intellect does not function. When the body ceases, the vital sheath, the mind, the intellect stop operating. Thus, these are not the part of consciousness. So, Vijnanamaya is also not the Atma, and now it becomes the Anatma. So, within the Vijnanamaya exists the Anandamaya as a real Atma. Now, man is ready to enter the Anandamaya Kosha. It is the Anandamaya Kosha is the causal sheath, the subtlest, the last, deepest layer of identity, as the blissful sheath is the enjoyer of all fruits of action. The bliss is defined as the highest dimension of human existence, where one is detached from emotion and exists in a state of perfect harmony and health. nearest kosha surrounding the Atman, embodying the highest state of manifested existence. It is pervaded by total silence with a dissolution of I that still shows dominant in the Manomaya and Vijnanamaya, subtlest form of balanced mind with inner strength, fearlessness. Here one can experience ecstasy and rapture. The Anandamaya also borrows the human shape, like all other previous kosha, and is made of range of joys experienced by man in contact with the finite world of matter. The existence of man is conditioned by joys experienced in life. So Upanishad now gives different joys that are experienced by individual based on sense object and their enjoyers under three headings: Priya, Moda, and Pramoda. So the three graded experience of joy constitute the Anandamaya. All the graded bliss or joy enjoyed emanates from a common source, the Supreme Self or the Brahman. Bliss or joy is the essential nature of man, where various desires and sorrows, accompanied by strong agitations of mind, choke the self. When man possesses desired objects, varying degrees of satisfaction are achieved, along with calming of the mind. The degrees to which the mind is calm reflects the self's blissful light upon the individual's cognition. Sense enjoyment is nothing but the bliss of self that shows up at certain moments due to possession of the desired object as a cause. Thus, the self is a source of all joys experienced. So, the joy one gets from the self is always present here. Due to the presence of self, objects give joy as they are all manifestations of the Brahman. The Upanishad then declares that the bliss personality of man is based upon Brahman. However, the highest joy is attained only knowing that they are one with Brahman, the Brahman that is our innermost self. To realize the bliss sheath is to discover the Atman. Fixing our identification bliss sheath completely is a last act of conscious and deliberate human effort in attempt at self-evolution, coming to a realization that his essence is nothing short of Supreme Brahman. This state is also experienced in deep sleep, where the activity of the mind intellect are withdrawn and cease. However, the self-experience in a state of deep sleep is not a real self, which is conscious. There is no conscious awareness of it positively, and the causal sheath only operates fleetingly, having a beginning and an end. Thus, it cannot be regarded as eternal and not as the Atma. The Upanishad again reiterates that the experiential joy from Anandamaya is also not the real Atma. It guides to the real Atman as Ananda, without the addition of Maya or modification. Anandamaya is graded with fluctuating experiential joy, time bound, limited. However, Ananda is non graded, non fluctuating, ever present as I am this Ananda. Ananda is the supreme eternal bliss and higher than any other highest human joy or happiness. Here one can connect to the consciousness. Man then realized that Ananda is the basic material from which it originates the creation. Anandamaya Kosha then, with its three graded joys, becomes the Anatma or the non-self. There is no dependency here on external objects for experiencing Ananda. This state is characterized by a qualitatively different sense of positivity and well-being, and Atmananda is the real nature. So the Atmananda that is non-experiential is understood as I, the Ananda, Atma. It gets a support and identity from the Brahman, where Atmananda is recognized as identical to Brahmananda. Shankaracharya in Atmabodha describes Atman as the self-consciousness that illuminates all activities of gross and subtle bodies. However, it is detached from all five bodies, and it is due to avidya that man tends to attribute them to the Atma. The Anandamaya Kosha of Karna Sharira, controlling our emotions, is not the real Ananda. The real Ananda emanates from the Atman. So here, transcending all the physical, vital, mental, intellect, causal body, man finds nothing remains. The peeling of all layers of personality systematically happens with analysis of non-identity of consciousness. These are all our apparent sheets of personality, not our essential nature. Although they are a part of consciousness, they are not the consciousness itself. They stand outside the consciousness as existing. After isolation from five sheets, there is a sense of nothingness, a vacuum within that is born out of a conditioning of being conscious about something else rather than being self-conscious. The consciousness that is pure Atman, pure self, belongs to the cosmos and is present in every atom of the cosmos as the universal Atman. This universal Atman is the Brahman, the Absolute, which is the essence of the spiritual content in man. That is Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, the Ananda embodied. When Brahman is perceived subjectively, it is Atman. When Atman is all-pervading principle of the universe, it is called the Brahman. Man's goal as an individual is to transcend limitations imposed by self-identity and realize the unity of Atman with Brahman. So the Panchakosha Viveka is a key to attain a steady state in life with health and harmony, where man becomes free from all polarities of life. So these are the steps in the journey. In beginning, when man is purely material, he just focuses on bare necessities to live. Then the prana becomes dominant, straining to deal with emotions, senses, actions, life, energy, will. Then it transmutes into a subtle being, coming to understanding of the power of mind, its capability to read the prana kosha and getting initiation of the world beyond. As the Vijnanamaya Purusha, he gets a glimpse of the fourth world, the world of Satyam, Britam, and Brihat. Working with Vijnanamaya Purusha, man grows into a wide, multiple cosmic person, open on all sides to multitudinous flowing of truth. Man strives to be a spiritual man, enjoying higher peace, joy, and harmony. The soul of man then soars as a bird beyond the firmaments of physical and mental consciousness to find the divine waiting as Satchit Ananda. The Upanishad says when man realizes Brahman, he enjoys everything, feels fulfilled. Attaining knowledge of self is a knowledge of Brahman, the Brahmanyanam. So essentially, Atmanyana is Brahmanana. The ultimate aim of Atman is realization of Brahman within and progress to a state of eternal Brahmananda, where it is affirmed that man obtains all the pleasures of infinite Ananda. The Upanishad gives an account of creation as a reason or a methodology devised for stating the absolute reality of Brahman and the illusory nature of the world. Vedanta declares that understanding the vast cosmos in its intricate details is impossible. However, basics of creation can nurture an awareness of the meaning and purpose of cosmic manifestation with its multiplicity, fostering insights into the significance and goal of human life. So the Brahman is viewed in creation in two aspects. The Nirguna Brahman as immutable foundation and efficient cause of the universe. Saguna Brahman conditioned by Maya. Maya is a relativity that creates diversity having three gunas, the Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Brahman then becomes the eternal subject, then becomes the object of knowledge. Creation starts with Saguna Brahman in association with Maya, with sequential evolution of elements from subtle to gross. The totality of gross and subtle body of the universe are upadhis of Brahman that give an illusion of limitations. The pure consciousness then descends into this realm of relativity called Hiranyagarbha and Virat. The gross body, subtle body, and a mind think and behave in their own manner, generating karmas in the samsara. Creation is then a cyclical process of manifestation and dissolution. So the foundational basis of Vedanta reiterates that macrocosm and microcosm are identical it is due to avidya arising with limiting maya. The macrocosm is superimposed upon Brahman and microcosm upon Atman. With cessation of all three states of existence, the non-dual and the pure bliss is realized as I am that or Tattvamasi. The Atman is Brahman. The creation is delineated as a systemic sequential process enabling man to garner the fundamental knowledge projected against a finite background for assimilating the finer nuances of subtler knowledge. The higher consciousness manifests itself as thoughts, feelings, emotions, and objects when viewed through a veil of intellect, mind, and body. This is only the multiplicity expressed differently from one infinite self. The seeker is asked to see the universe with a paripurna drishti, a complete vision, and to foster the understanding that world is only an extension and expression of the ultimate reality. The mental impression of the beings, the vasanas, exert themselves to create a field seeking complete fulfillment through a world conducive for their full expression. Expressing through the totality of all mental impressions, the supreme reality thus becomes both the material and efficient cause of the universe. Only the Atman is greater than all manifestation. It is present in its whole undivided form in man's own self. So there is a philosophical rigor of discriminative analysis of the universe and individual, which is based on the edifice that empirical knowledge only gives rise to ignorance, which is then rejected as inconsequential. All forms of energy and matter in creation is causal matter called Maya. Atman as a consciousness is not matter, therefore it is not bound by time and space and is beyond it. Man and Brahman, they share a unique relationship where the most profound knowledge and existence of Brahman is acquired through personal experiences of the seeker. The goal of thus the human journey is knowledge of self or Atmanyana as the path to self-realization and moksha. The universal self is identical to the individual self for the Atman as the pure consciousness, with the wholeness of life showing expression of Brahman in every human being and every particle of the creation. So the Atman is basically Aham Chaitanya Swarupa. It is distinct from five koshas. It is avastatraya sakshin, witness to all three states of experiences. It is independent. It is non-material without any guna. It is ever existent. It is boundless. And aham ekaha, it is one. So the Atman Ekaha is one consciousness principle. The Sharira Trayam, the gross, subtle, and the causal body is Anatma. I, as an individual, is a mixture of material Anatma, which is time space bound, and non material Atman, which is beyond time and space. So the core of our understanding is Atma, Anatma, Viveka. When the consciousness is functioning through individual matter, Shariratrayam, then the consciousness is named as Jivatman. When behind the whole creation, it is called as Paramatma. But once the Anatma or the matter is removed, there is no Jivatma or Paramatma. There is only the all-pervading Atman. So this is the quest for Atman has always been in man. So man recognizes the Atman as I and self-awareness as I in man. The Atman is the inner soul, is a permanent, unchanging aspect of our being and the background substratum to all our mental activity and physical being. The body and mind, they become conscious due to the presence of Atman. Consciousness only gives us conscious experiences in mind. When we become body conscious, the body appears accessible and it is an living entity. Light of pure consciousness is reflected in mind, bringing forth this awareness and generating a sense of being within our body. The buddhi recognizes that empirical awareness as I. So this I can be tracked back to its source, the pure consciousness, due to which the mind lights up and becomes conscious, leading to a sense of ahamkara or identity. However, this is more to do with the sense of aham, the I sense. Only a mind with great clarity will have the throb of aham or the I sense without identification with anything else. The mental awareness here is nothing but reflection of the source of pure consciousness that happens with progressive quieting of the mind. Such an approach adopted by Vedanta is called as vichara or deep self-inquiry to track the source of I sense, which can take us to the core of our personality. But our mind is conditioned consciousness or just a reflection of the witness consciousness, giving a feeling of I am, which is layered by multiple names, forms, attributes. However, the source behind the mind and the body is consciousness, which is nothing but the Atman. The mind lit by the consciousness creates conscious experiences to happen, and this enables us to function in the world. Thus, the self is the core of the human personality. Vedanta propounds self-inquiry, Atma Vichara, for self-realization, to seek the foundation of self-awareness by penetration into our existence as the ego. It is the I sense that needs to be reached for the self-knowledge, which is more intuitive. Shankaracharya in his philosophy recommends cultivating fourfold qualification, sadhana chatushtaya, as essential prerequisite for the mental preparedness for Atmanyana, which is viveka, vairagya, samadhi, shakta, sampatti, and mumukshutva. Also, the means of acquiring this knowledge is Shravanam, listening and imbibing teaching of scriptures on the reality of Brahman and the illusionary world. The Mananam, reflection by removing doubts at intellectual level and internalizing the teachings. And Nididhyasanam, deep contemplation, removing emotional weakness and application of knowledge, meditation on one's true identity as Brahman Atman. So, what are the benefits of acquiring self-knowledge? The phalam, you become a jivan mukti, that is liberation while living. So it benefits us at mental level, free from all psychological problems. So three benefits are given: independent, swatantiram, to psychologically independent. We become psychologically independent individual with presence or absence of external factors not affecting us emotionally. We feel a sense of purnatvam or fullness, a sense of fulfillment in life, knowing I am the Atman, unconfined to the body, which is just Sachitananda Swarupa, which is all pervading, free from limitation. So there is no sense of isolation or rejection here. Just as space cannot be rejected by anyone, I, the Atman, cannot be rejected by anyone. And we get balance of mind or samatvam, emotional strength to face the ups and downs of life. Jnanam can be a great shock absorber in our life over things that affect us and are beyond our control. We realize all the problems and challenges of life belong to the reflected consciousness alone. where the jiva alone has the challenges of life, but not the original consciousness. Reflected consciousness is an incidental aspect of mind. Therefore, when I go on invoking my higher nature or pure consciousness, the reflected consciousness and its problems become highly insignificant. Thus, with jnanam, the troubles will not impact us permanently. Although man is physically dependent on the world for essentials such as food, clothing, shelter, there is a psychological independence as jivan mukti or freedom while living. So this inner freedom can be seen as immunity or shock absorber given by the discovery of higher self as I, which is the benefit enjoyed while living. Thus, jnanam can be a protective armor against unhealthy responses we have towards life. Overall, it can have cumulative benefits on physical, mental, and emotional levels in our daily life. The next benefit is Videga Mukti or liberation body. After death, physical body perishes while subtle and causal body continue to exist. This subtle and causal body, along with Atman, is all pervading, acquires subsequent rebirths and deaths according to individual karma. But for a jnani, he does not survive as an individual, but he survives as the totality or the samasti. Therefore, he is no longer called the Jiva Atma, but he becomes one with Paramatma. Jivatma becomes Paramatma by losing the individuality. There is freedom from Punarjanma. There is no Sukshma Karana Shariram surviving to acquire another birth. Janma stops. Our future Janma stops with Jnanam by destroying all karmas. The Bhagavad Gita also propounds its own ways of acquiring self-knowledge. And it is deeply connected to yoga, which forms a foundation for more profound spiritual realization. Yoga neutralizes the effects of the material world and its manifestation for connecting to the absolute truth, where one contemplates the knowledge of reality. So we have the Jnana Yoga or the path of knowledge, the Bhakti Yoga surrendering to Supreme Divine with unconditional love and faith, the Karma Yoga path of action, and the Dhyana Yoga as meditation. There is a sense of inclusiveness given by recognition of diversity in man, where the seeker can adopt one or more according to their temperament or stages in life. The ultimate aim, however, is to transcend ignorance, realize the unity of individual with the universal consciousness. So, as our consciousness evolved with changing time, modern seers, they offered their own relevant contribution to awaken modern man to acquire self-knowledge and realization of his true self. Swami Vivekananda recognized that man's inherent nature is divine. He declared, "You are the soul, you are the divinity within." Man can overcome his limitations and understand the deeper purpose of existence with spiritual evolution. So he highly propounded Karma Yoga or Yoga of Action. Sri Aurobindo, a philosopher and spiritual leader, emphasized that the evolution of human society was intertwined with spiritual philosophy of creation, the realization of higher consciousness, evolution of both individual and collective human potential. Evolution of one individual has the potential to contribute to the transformation of the collective society. He said that self-knowledge is a key for human evolution, as we have consciousness as common factor between us, creating a sense of oneness with the whole of existence, leading to an inclusive but universal outlook. So the knowledge of self and objective knowledge leads to human excellence. So self-knowledge is very important for human evolution. If our cultural outlook depends on what we believe a man to be, if we believe he's just a body, then it becomes a purely materialistic society. If we believe he's just a mind, then it becomes a highly intellectual society. But if we believe we are the self or the Atman, it's a value-based society, as consciousness is the only common factor between us and the creation, bestowing a sense of oneness with the whole existence, leading to a very inclusive outlook. It leads one to expansion of our awareness, perception, acceptance, inclusion, and oneness. Self-knowledge also removes fear. Where we have a sense of ourselves not being apart from anything or anybody else, we discover higher levels of happiness, which is proportional to awareness. This knowledge gives us a very universal outlook. It paves way for full expression of human excellence, which fosters evolution from physical to psychosocial to spiritual evolution. So our Upanishads and Bhagavad Gita have given Pancha Mahayagna as a way to enhance the spiritual evolution of man towards expansion of perception, higher awareness, greater consciousness, and self-knowledge, man to realize their divine potential and align with the ultimate truth and oneness with creation. So 5 types are given there for man to perform during his life. Brahma Yagna, which is self knowledge and self-study, Pitra Yajna offering to ancestors as spiritual unity with them, Deva Yajna offering to gods, Bhuta Yajna offering to elements and all living beings as a part of the greater whole, and Manushya Yajna offering to society in form of service. So, what is self knowledge? Self knowledge is I always am the Atman. This is our everyday experience for us as essentially unchanging truth of our being. It has many implications on our personality. If we understand and develop awareness that we as a subject experience everything objectively, we can manage ourselves by having a hold over the objective world. As human beings, we see that objects have a tendency to sway us, to have its hold over us. But if we know this truth, we can voluntarily distance ourselves from our thought process and emotions, empowering us to handle them better. This is a very practical application of practice of self-knowledge. It can be implemented in day-to-day life. So what are the fundamentals of self-knowledge that we need to know? Mind can be made objective to our experience as it's external to our being. Identifying and thinking we are the body limits us under time, space, and causation. Identifying and thinking we are the mind will also limit us as time, space, and causation are in the mind. However, if we identify ourselves as awareness, everything is present in us, where the subject and the object form one seamless reality. It is more of a highly experiential exercise than an intellectual one, requiring proper training of mind and body. So the Vedanta considers human personality to be trichotomous, mind, body, and Atman, that manifests itself through mind-body complex, with the self illumining the mind and body. The discovery of self helps us in self-management of our mind and body complex. With this self-knowledge also allows us better management of thoughts, feelings, emotions, attitudes, mental capacities, will, and our compulsive habits, and also development of diseases. We have the power to change thoughts to awareness, feelings to values, and compulsive behavior to conscious behavior and motivation. As a more conscious person, we have control over our thoughts and emotions. Self knowledge awakens ourself by making the mind more conscious, which creates intensified awareness and allows this light of awareness into our mind body complex, generating more peace and happiness within. Self knowledge guides and empowers man to achieve, to be at the helm of change, to lead a life of peace, happiness, and a healthy, holistic life. So, Panchakosha technique was actually a practical technique given by the Upanishads for awakening self knowledge and awareness. It is said that Bhrigu possessed great physical health as light of awareness streamed unobstructed through him. So in modern world, Panchakosha model is based as an integrated therapeutic approach in yoga therapy based on the principle that disturbances in the Manomaya Kosha percolates into the Annamaya Kosha through the Pranamaya Kosha. So these are the various practices which are given in yoga addressing different kosha levels. So yoga can be considered also as an epistemological extension of Vedanta. Yoga teaches us meditative practices, as yoga is all about going within. All yoga are based on common foundation of Chitta Vritti Nirodha, where yoga restrains the mind Chitta from taking various modifications. So stop the thought process is the first essential step. The end process, stopping thoughts to allow the witness consciousness to stabilize to its real nature. So the basic equation of yoga is mind is equal to thoughts forming upon the consciousness. Removal of such thoughts, only consciousness remains. So consciousness is therefore mind minus thought. Yoga, chitta vritti nirodha. Practice regularly, we can aid our progress to effective process of inquiry, Atma Vichara, by readying our mind and body to lead us to the truth. So Yoga Vedanta mind management involves Vedantic inquiry is essential phenomenological method where we learn from analysis of our first-hand experience and inferences regarding our nature. If mind is fit enough, the very inquiry can take us to self-knowledge. It is the mind that is a link between the body and self, playing a significant role in self-realization. Awareness is also one of the primary factors in us in which the mind functions, allowing the faculties of thinking, feeling, and willing. So, being aware really requires no effort except to be still and distance ourselves from the mind, which is constantly engaged. We penetrate through self inquiry, using mind to awaken to self knowledge. So meditation can help us, and also practicing mind control by living a regulated life that reflect regulation of our thoughts, emotions, will, attitude, and motivation. So the more conscious we are, the more we awaken in us the consciousness that lead to meaningful life experiences. And practicing mind management techniques such as objectifying our thought process, metacognition, enhancing awareness to yogic techniques, and practicing stress management techniques on a practical level, one can implement by thinking positively positively, be more sociable, eat healthy, be active and dynamic, and do regular exercise. So the practical application in modern context is today's man is lost in various forms, wearing diverse identities. However, introspection and practices such as mindfulness and meditation will remove all illusions of change and bring awareness of unchanging reality of Sat, bringing peace in a chaotic life. Our consciousness is often fragmented due to multiple distractions, stress, and information saturation. So, apart from yoga and meditation, some of the practical ways we can develop self knowledge is mostly through self inquiry, through reflection, reflecting on the impermanence of external experiences, thoughts, emotions, journaling, through mindfulness and present moment awareness, through breath awareness, to pursue knowledge and learning from different sources, reading different philosophies, spiritual teachings, and self help books, being more open to new ideas and perspectives that can help us refine our beliefs and discover new aspects of ourselves, develop emotional intelligence, empathy, and compassion, practice detachment and non attachment, develop a regular practice of gratitude, embrace silence and solitude, and practice self compassion. So, incorporating even a few of these practices in our daily life can create a space for more self awareness, insights into what we truly are. Modern life often pulls us away from ourselves, but with intentional practices, we can cultivate self knowledge amidst the chaos. All these teachings and spiritual discipline emphasize harmony with the universe, ethical living, and self knowledge and realization. Such a balanced state can profoundly contribute to balance our mundane materialistic pursuits with effective spiritual growth that can foster harmony, happiness, and realization of the ultimate purpose of our life, which is the Atman. So I would here like to read a small poem. It was very appealing and simple from I taken from some anonymous source, which I felt was very apt for today's topic. I just shaped it in a form of poem because it is very applicable for understanding what self and self-knowledge in Vedanta is all about to common men and women. The self knowledge is art of cutting through cosmic clutter, decluttering the show. It's tossing out our illusions of building our identities through life, coming to our real self through self inquiry can offer more clarity and mental peace. Layers of spiritual paint thinner, they strip away the layers. These are not practices but unpractices, revealing nothing, but in that nothing is everything. It tosses the tired script of you, hands you a mirror. So, what are the benefits? Mental clarity, emotional resilience, extreme lightness of being. It is like upgrading your mind to the latest software. It's a path to lose your misconceptions about who you think you are. So, if you are looking for a way outside the existential traffic jam, consider this as GPS recalculating. The destination is a place where the road and the traveler are the same. Remember, if you don't question your reality, who will? So, anytime you feel like you are somebody, remind yourself that you are nobody except the self as pure consciousness awareness. Thank you. These are the references I've taken.
You're muted, Anna.
Yeah, you very nice presentation, and so much explorations are there in the study, trying to unearth so many important points, studying the mind, studying the Brahman, and the means for appreciation of all that, and thereby man is not kept vacant. He is having a lot of homework and busy schedules apart from the mundane diversions and attractions. But there are rishis, at different levels, who try to climb up the heights through their own practices. That's why in Vishnu Sahasranamam, you see Vishnu saying, Yogo Gnanam Tatha Sankhyam. Then all these things, Yoga, Yogam, Gnanam, Sankhyam. So these are all the important beginnings to go ahead. And she has touched almost very important new points regarding the creation and spirituality and definition of man itself. Because Manushya, that is thinking. Only man has buddhi and thinking power. And it's a beautiful presentation. I think others are there to make comments. And Anjane Prasad also is there looking at make a comment on what has gone off. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a very wonderful talk, madam, and you have covered lots of topics connecting the scriptures to our, evolution, creation, and yeah, I think the depth of the topics you have covered is very comprehensive. Thank you very much for a very wonderful talk.
Now,
yes. So I don't know if Lakshmi is here, Dr. KB Lakshmi is not here. So Rajgopalan sir, you want to have some remarks, please?
Yeah. Sir. Yeah, this is a very heavy topic, but very beautifully presented. Graphic, and yeah, very beautifully presented. And also the best thing is, like, you started up with the Panchakoshas and then go on to define how Atman and Brahman are, like, it is referred to the same thing but the context of how when it is should be Brahman and when it should be Atman also was very well illustrated. And your references and also your
yeah, please make some. Okay, thank you. Please make comments.
Yeah, it is. You made it more interesting. At least I would love to have this PowerPoint for me to digest it fully. It is very well presented, because many times people I'm a Satyasai devotee. We used to go for study circles, and we try to understand what Baba wants us to become, and we all come short by defining this is what Baba wants, right? But ultimately realizing what we are supposed to do, it is said by Vivekananda, many philosophers, and it is, and when the part of seeking is something like, we don't know what is seeking, right? Till you know exactly the sugar, you cannot know what you are going for. So here you have given a very beautiful comprehensive knowledge of differentiating that which activates everything is, like, you're defining Atman. And now I think you have created a tremendous curiosity now, and hopefully, like, we will take it. And thanks for the wonderful presentation.
Thank you, sir, so much.
Now Lakshmi is there. I think she will be able to make some comment.
Namaste. Salute to all people join the meeting. I have been asked by Dr. Pravachana Garu to give some comments on the speech. Actually, she has covered so many things. Starting from creation, she has taken us to Parabrahman, from atom to Parabrahman. She took us on a very long journey. So it's difficult for me to give remarks also. But I want to add one thing in this journey, one point, to make this self-knowledge and self-awareness things. I think one easy path is there to retain moksha and this thing. That I think that is bhakti. So with following bhakti path, I think it will be possible for common man, common person also to attain moksha. Because you see these panchakoshas in creation also. There are Panchabhutas are there, Panchakoshas, Panchatanmatras, all these things are there. In Lalita Sasnam, we say Panchatanmatra Sahika. There are Panchatanmatras there. If they are with human beings, we cannot use them properly. All the five senses may mislead us, but these Panchatanmatras are in the hands of Goddess Mata, so she will control us. So bhakti is, I think, bhakti is the easy path to reach divine. So even in Srishti creation also, starting point in this says one has fear of the other things because of ignorance only fear comes. If you have knowledge, the fear will go away. So having the knowledge of creation and creator, we will be free of this fear and we may live happily. So this thing also she talked about Pancha Yajnas, Brahma Yajna, Pitra Yajna, Deva Yajna, Bhuta Yajna, Manushya Yajna. So for these Pancha Yajnas, they are in Lalita Sasnama, we say Pancha Yajna Priya Pancha Pruta Panchati Shayini. So by performing Pancha Yajnas, we please gods also. So she has covered so many things, and I'm not prepared on this topic. So I want to say just one thing. Final goal you said, reaching Paramatma, and that I want to quote Shankaracharya's Manobuddhya Hankara Chittani Naham. Nacha Stotra Jihve, Nacha Grana Netre, Nacha Vyoma Bhumir, Natejo Navayuhu, Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. When we get the knowledge of I am not Buddhi, I am not Ahankara, I am not Chittam, Indriyas, I am not Indriyas, I am not Vyoma, I am not Bhumi, I am only the Chidananda Rupa Shiva, I am the Shivoham. If we can get to that stage, so it's not possible for each and for common people like that, but that will be the final thing we can get. Am nirvikalpo nirakara rupo vidutvacha sarvatra. Sorry.
Indriyana.
Sorry, I could not continue this. But finally, one has to attain moksha. One has to this self-knowledge and self-awareness also are very important. So without these things, we will be first day we'll be trapped in this we will be materialistic things. Yeah. We cannot go ahead. So self-awareness and self-knowledge are all very important things. And also, for me, I think bhakti is the most important thing to attain these things, because we keep all our responsibilities on the God, and we can be free and lead our lives in devotion, and we can live happily. Thank you.
Nice. Now, Sriti Vasan is there from Atlanta, America. He has got some comments to make. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Guruji. Thanks for the opportunity. Yeah, I mean it's a ocean, this Vedanta, and then we all start going this path at certain age of ours. I mean, so some gets early in the age, I mean in the life, and some in the middle ages and all, right? So that's it. I mean, this like Bhagavan Adi Shankar also says the kinchita pita, right? I mean what we experience today is just a sip of this ocean, this Vedanta knowledge, right? The yeah, and thanks to I mean she covered pretty much the big, I mean the entire in a just the Shravanam Mananam Nididhyasanam, right? Is a very basic thing. I think when you get into this path to attain the Atma, the Jnanam, right? The way the Pancha Yagna and Pancha Koshas, and then the significance of yoga and the power of mind, Atma Vichara, how you do Atma Vichara, eventually to get into a state of Mano Nasha, even that mind gets dropped to attain to get one with the Paramatma, the Brahman, Parabrahman, right? Or the one all pervading, right? So that's a great thing. And Satana Chatushtaya, is very very basic thing. And like Bhagavan Adi Shankara says, Satsangatve Nitsangatvam Nisangatve Nischalatve Nirmohatvam Nirmohatve Jivan Muktihi. Right. So you need, I mean, just like, I mean, Dr. Lakshmi also was saying, right? So you need bhakti and jnanam to go together to become one with the all pervading. And the difference between the shunyatvam and the purnatvam, right? You need atma to identify the purnatvam. Otherwise, it's like shunya and purna. There is no difference. You need Atma to identify the Purnatvam. And also, she touched the Ahankara, I, in everything, right? That Rajasic, Tamasic Ahankara as opposed to Sattvic Ahankara. Eventually, you need to give up that Sattvic Ahankara also to become one with the Brahman, right? So, I mean, yeah, so I mean, again, it's the ocean, and I mean, I'm glad we all here as a group to elevate ourselves and to reach again doing the basic thing like our karma anushtana is a very basic thing to be focused, meditate, and then get better day by day. I think is what we all need to like Guruji in his age right now, right? And then thank you again, Guruji, for the opportunity to make some I mean some basic comments that I know, because I'm learning still, and I would love to just continue this being in this path. Thank you again for all the presentations. Nice presentation. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. And now we have got our friend, Sri Lakshmi, I don't know, he has to make some comments. Welcome, sir. Just comment on what today's talk went on.
Hello, sir.
You have anything to offer, comments on the presented talk?
This is my husband, sir, Dr. Bhaskar. He wants to say some words, sir.
Sir, I am a scientist, retired scientist. Yeah, I am a retired scientist. I have seen today the presentation.
We can hear you. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I have seen the presentation of Sindhu Shankar. So she made a very elaborate on this particular subject. And within 1 hour, it is very difficult to cover. The creation he started, and then he has come up with the Shankara's literature, whatever that is existing. And then she made a very good conclusion out of all the literature what she gathered. Here I would like to mention one Rigvedic quotation of Anu Bhadraha Kripavani into Vishwataha. Let noble thoughts come to us from every side. The process of thought, that is very, very important. To have a quotation of Brahma Sutra, that is Athato Brahma Jignasa. So the Jignasa towards knowing the Swarupa of Brahma, the Creator. So this is what the scientists also will also pursue, from unknown to from known to the unknown, from existence to the non-existence. So the travel, the journey, what we are making. So your body itself is an instrument in experiencing what you are seeing in the world. That is the reason why this conceptual thinking that is arising over generations and continuing to say that you have to perform karma, the karma yogi. And again we will see the jnana because we have senses. Through senses we are collecting and experiencing from the world. So whatever experiences we got it from the world, we are creating the thoughts because we are the experiences from the world. The experiences will crystallize your thoughts to go for knowing why all these experiences are coming to me. So there is something, some force that is existing within us, the same thing that is existing in the universe. So that is what the people, that's why in Bhagavad Gita they will say, Lokesmin Dvidha Vishta Pura Prokta. Lokesmin Dvidha Vishta Pura Prokta Maya Nara Karma Yogena Yoginam Nara Yogena Sankhanam.
Nana Yogena Sankhanam, Karma Yogena Yogena.
So this is the basic conceptual thinking what our forefathers they have given to us. This knowledge is very, very essential and we have to put it in practice. And then we have to keep up this knowledge in the minds of the common people. That is what I would like to put it. And Sindhu Shankar made a very good presentation in PPT mode, especially in the literature. It is very unusual to see these PPT slides. So I'm very much thankful to the Dr. Prabhakar sir for giving me this opportunity to say something what I knew. Also the different people from different sections, whoever they are involved in knowledge generation. It is very, very important. That needs a conceptual thinking. The concepts, how it evolved over ages, and how we have to live with our thoughts. That is very, very important. The thought-provoking process is very, very important in human life. And once again, through this lecture, I got a very good experience. And then I'm very much thankful to all of the people for giving me this opportunity to express a few words. The same thing my wife didn't explain it in simple terms, but this is what I have. And I really appreciate the speaker who made a good effort in bringing out all the literature once again into the minds of the people. I'm very much thankful to organizers.
Yeah. Thank you very much. And I just want to say one slokam from Mahabharata where Vyasa says, and he summarizes into this Suvarna Pushpam Burvim Chinvanti Purushastrayaha Virascha Krutavidyascha Yascha Janati Sevitum. These are the three kinds of people would consider the earth is full of golden flowers and reap the golden flowers also and enjoy that. So these three people, Krutavidyascha, that is what Sindhu is trying to, and then Viraha and highly bold, adventurous research. See, what is research is, as Valmiki Maharshi says, Vyaktam Anveshate Bhuyaha. There is, see, what is already there, you have to only search and find out and describe. There is nothing new for anybody in the world. Everything is already set in the world. But what is set in the world, you have to explore, unearth it. That is the pursuit. That, as our friend told, that knowledge has got to be generated. So the generation of knowledge is a continuous process, and there is no limit for that. Ultimately, Brahma is the limit for that. So, and also, yascha janati sevitam, that is the seeker. See, seva is to seek. So the seeker will be able to get the golden flowers or golden results when he is really in pursuit of that. So like that, the subject is very interesting. Actually, Sindhu was doubtful. Sir, how can I do it? How can I do it? No. See, when once you are on the track, automatically the engine works. And that's what research engine. And that research engine has worked. And we have got so many things. Because these days, people are always buried in so many worries. And it's hard for them to rise up from the bury. But an opportunity like that will just make some diversion and think that there is something plus, plus, plus. Not only C++, not anything like that, but there is also spirituality plus, plus. Therefore, the Anando Brahma, that was approved by the Rishi. And in we have got that Angirasa, Bharadvaja, and all these, they are all Vidya providers. Upanishad is a Vidya. And so we have got, and I remember when Sindhu said supra cosmic, then Radha Krishnan was always quoting what is Brahman. Supra cosmic transcendental force is Brahman. He used to always talk about it like. So anyway, we remember so many latest modern scholars also like Vivekananda, Radha Krishnan, and so many are there. And that is to say, the thinking process has not stopped to unearth our own self, that Atma Vidya and Atma Jnana and Atma and also Moksha and Atma Agni and so on. So the subject is really not complete today. Everybody has got some thinking to add for that. And it is very fascinating for all of us to have met together and spend some time on this precious subject. And I hope our article will be published in our annals. And so you can wait for that and look at all the slides, because the slides themselves will reveal a great deal of depth of inquiry and the homework that we have got to do during the. See, retirement is an opportunity, but people become more busy after retirement rather than while in service. So that is not recommended. So we have to relax and enjoy and realize. So with these viewers, I conclude, and I will ask Dr. So to say the Shanti Mantram. I don't know who is there. So recite the Shanti Mantram and we conclude. Anything offer, Sandhu?
Yeah, Shivalinga Garu is here. He can do it.
So Sindhu, anything to talk, no? Having heard these people.
Yes, I have also learned new aspects which I am going to collect them and add on to my whatever I'm writing about creation. I would like to thank Prabhakar sir for giving me this opportunity. He has constantly encouraged me to write and to do a lot of things. And because of that, my learning is ever expanding. My perception is increasing. I'm learning so many new things. I really appreciate and thank you, sir, for giving me this opportunity.
Yeah, this is the beginning. Sri Ganeshaya Namaha. So once you say Ganeshaya Namaha, so much of next work is there. Very interesting.
I really look forward to it because my learning is also huge. Whenever I start writing, I learned so many things, we connect, and also there's a lot of connections between what we know in everyday world, our previous knowledge, and what I'm learning. This you can make a lot of connections, and every time I write something or present, it's a whole new experience.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir.
So you're always fresh and fresh and fresh. That is what is research. Vyaktam anveshate bhuyaha. What is already there, that you investigate, that you try to explore, that you try to know for your own self. Yes, Sivalingaya.
Hari Om, Namaste Guruji, Namaste.
Yes, now you are trying to thank all these people and say something from India. See, we have got India, America became one. Though oceans divide, knowledge does not divide people. They're all at one platform. Yes. Om.
Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahavidyam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah. Sarve Santu Niramaya. Sarve Bhadrani Pashyant Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Satam. Sarvam Shri Krishnarpanamasta. Shri Vasudevarpanamasta. Shri Veda Purusha Ashirvadhosta. Om Shri Matru Charanaravindarpanamasta. Om Tat Sat. Hari Om Namaste Guruji.